that doesn't mean, that's why I say it's harder to enforce. It's harder to enforce an oral agreement in court. So if you come to me and you say, Dan, I want you to sue so-and-so because we had a discussion and we agreed on this, you know, $50,000 what I was going to pay and he was going to provide me with X, Y, Z. I'm going to tell you, yes, you have a very hard case because you didn't write it down, you didn't put it in writing. But I won't tell you that you don't have a case. It's just going to be very hard because if Kyle and I go to court over, you know, washing the car, Kyle can get up there and lie. You can say, no, I told him it was going to be for $50.
Right.
You know, I told him it was going to be for, you know, for 10, or I told him he had to wax my car too. I'm going to say, I never said that. And it's just going to be, I would never agree to wax this car. But the court's going to say, okay, well, who am I supposed to believe here? You guys go figure it out, right? Or they'll say, I believe Kyle. He's more believable on the stand. He looks better. He's got his hair in a nicer way. He's wearing a tie, right? He looks more professional, you know, so we're just going to go with Kyle, okay?
I like that.
Kyle would, yeah.
Kyle always wins the
So the lesson from that is make sure that you have things written down and that you have clarity on the terms of the agreement, okay? And there are a lot of other things, you know, the bigger the contract is, the more worth your while it is to have someone, to pay someone like me to look at it, okay? Because when you're entering into a big deal, all right, say you're signing an agreement for, you know, they want you to, you know, say this company, Dawn, that's giving you, you know, doing stuff for you online, say you come to a company, they say, well, we want you to sign on for 3 years, right? I want you to commit to paying, you know, $500 a month, and you can't cancel it. Right, and if you cancel it halfway through, we get the whole rest of the, you know, the whole rest of the term. Okay, you don't want to sign something like that unless you have had someone look at it and say, okay, you have an exit strategy, like what, you know, we can.
That's what the call to use.
Yeah, you can negotiate those things in your contract, right? Kyle and I both do this, right, on a regular basis. I litigate it more, but you know, we work on negotiating these terms so that you don't get to litigating, okay? Because then costs go up through the roof.
Does a person, in Dawn's case, does she call you 30 days prior, 60, 90 days prior? What is a reasonable amount of time for you to review?
Yeah,
now,
so
we don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, so you know, not knowing that.
So that we don't, you know, impede on your.
Yeah, so
your level of space.
usually we have flexibility to help people within a week or two period of time. You know, we're not so slammed that we have no time to talk to you. But generally, if you're looking at a bigger deal that's worth spending, you know, $500 to have an attorney look at an agreement, you want to give yourself some time, right? So we can, if there's an attorney or if it's, you know, a big company, you can have some time to go back and forth, right? Like a lease agreement, you sign a lease agreement for a space. We do those all the time. Yes, I mean, Cal's negotiating one right now. I'm litigating one right now. So, you know, if you've got a lease agreement that they want you to sign on for 5 years and they want you to pay the CAM, you know, the CAM goes up by 6% every year and they want you to pay a percentage and you pay all the utilities and you take care of any HVAC systems that fail, you got to fix those if they ever break. You know, you don't know what's in there and you don't want to sign yourself up for that. Right? So that's important, you know, those are things that are worth paying an attorney to look at because you don't want to come to me instead of Kyle down the road and say, I can't fix this lease, get me out of it, right?
10 minutes.
Okay, thanks. So we did 6. Number 7 is if I have to sue someone and I win, I'll get them to pay my attorney's fees. Oh wow! I'm surprised. Most
You
people
trained
don't
us
know
well, man.
that. Yeah. So it is false unless your contract says so, right? So people think that, oh, I'm going to win this, I'm going to get my attorney's fees paid. No, the rule is you always pay your own attorney's fees. So that's another thing to put in a contract, okay? Is to say whoever wins this gets their attorney's fees paid, right? 8, if I sign a contract with my own personal name and just list owner of the business, that means I'm not personally liable, the business is.
False.
Why is it false?
Owner.
Because you said, I'm not, because you signed your name, you're personally responsible.
Just said owner.
But
Right.
the owner part, does that kind of make it so
That's what
that,
got me.
So if you have properly incorporated, okay, and if you are the sole member or the officer or the director of your company, right, and the contract is in the name of the company, and you sign on behalf of the company in your role, then yes, you would not be personally liable, the company would, okay? But you got to be careful, you got to have all the stuff set up beforehand, right? The proper corporate structure that you actually have this person Because if you're gonna have the person sign, you wanna make sure that he's an actual person, okay? And he's walking around, living and breathing, he's not dead. So if you properly incorporate it, then yes, you're not gonna be on the hook. And be careful about personal guarantees too. People will try to slip those in, especially on a lease. They'll say, we would like you to personally guarantee it, you know, because we don't trust your business is gonna do super well,
Right.
okay? If you personally guarantee something, you should have an attorney look at that, because I've had people come to me who were personal guarantors like 5 lease iterations back, right? They weren't even aware of what was going on at the premises, and they came to me and said, hey, we're named in a lawsuit for the current person who's on the property because he's not paying the rent, right? And he used to be a partner, he was not a partner anymore, and we signed personal guarantee, and the personal guarantee usually says the landlord doesn't have to go after anyone before they come after you. They can just come right to you,
That's fine.
right? So they like to have that, obviously, but you don't want them to have that, or at least you want to make it, you know, negotiate it down a little
The
bit.
answer
So
to number 8 is true.
it is true, but only if
With
you
some
properly
caveats.
incorporated the business and you sign in the right capacity and you have that capacity on behalf of the business, right? Okay, number 9. Let me make sure there's no other contract things that I wanted to mention here, because I know that's a big thing.
And then you gave out cards, so if we want to follow up with you.
Yeah, the employment issues, let me just go through real quick these, number 9. Part-time workers who work regular hours during the week. They work on your premises, they use your equipment, they receive training and instruction from you, and they don't have any other jobs. Are they gonna be contractors, or are they gonna be employees?
Employee.
Why is that?
Because they're working on your premise, they're under your direction.
Yeah,
You give
You're
supervision.
controlling how they
Yeah.
do the job.
yeah.
You're not invested in the end project, you're invested in how the project is done.
Yes, good, very good, yeah.
Good
So,
stuff, yeah.
it's control, it's control and direction, yeah. A plus for Cynthia,
It's the same
yeah.
conversation I have with them all the time about it.
So
It's a
what
church.
would be
good
the
timing.
premises of them being an independent contractor? Like what would stand out most?
Okay, so I'll tell you real quickly, this is a long factor test, so if you've got something that's, you know, a big liability for a company, come talk to an employment lawyer, right, because you need advice on it. But very quickly, the IRS looks at a couple different factors. They look at control, okay, who's controlling how the work is done? Are you telling them what to do? Are you giving them equipment? Are you telling them when to work? Like, you gotta come in from 8 to 5 every day, okay, at my business location, okay? The other one is finances, okay, so are they paying for their equipment? Are they paying for their travel, or are you just gonna reimburse all those? Okay, that's more like an employer if you're reimbursing them, okay? The other one is what type of agreement do you say that you're creating? So do you have an independent contractor agreement to say you are an independent contractor? You gotta realize though, the first one I told you, control, the courts look at that one more, okay? So that you can put in an agreement, oh, you're a contractor, yeah, absolutely you're a contractor. And then the courts will look and say, yeah, you said that, but you're really treating them like an employee, right? And you have liability, you gotta withhold taxes and all that, state and federal, so
So it's
that could
not
be a
true
big.
or false, because you said, because it was,
So it would be false, they're most likely employees,
Okay.
right, given all those factors, okay? They're employees, yeah, I drafted the question wrong. But
Right.
number 10, yeah, sorry.
That's why I said, okay.
Yeah, no, I threw you off, three for loop. Number 10, you can legally prevent your volunteers or employees from suing you in court.
False.
No.
You can,
True.
no, but you can, but they can still take you.
You can
It doesn't mean
legally
they'll
prevent
follow.
them.
I
Yes,
mean,
you
they'll-
can, so,
They
I'll tell you how it
have arbitration,
happens.
it's arbitration.
I'll tell you how it
I
happens,
wanna hear
right?
about that.
You'll still get into court, but the judge will look at the agreement and
Right.
he'll say, ow.
Well, that's why I said, I mean,
Wow.
then you can still take it,
The
it may
correct
not
answer
go
is true.
anywhere.
It is
So-
true, if drafted correctly, so
Yeah.
you can prevent them from.
From Jump Street, if you say we have an arbitration, if there's any
Yes,
disagreement,
yes.
we go to arbitration.
But it's gotta have specific language in the arbitration clause, otherwise the courts will not enforce it, okay? So if it's drafted incorrectly, then you will go to court, okay? It's just it's more of an agreement like, we'll try mediation, we'll try arbitration, but the courts are asking the question, is it binding, right? Is it mandatory? All right, last one. If there's suspicious activity, an employer can access electronic communications they find on an employee's computer at any time without permission.
Yes.
True or false?
Employee.
It is false.
It's false.
It is false.
Without.
So employees have a right of privacy.
Right, I got that one right.
Yes. So if you have employees or contractors and they're
You
using
can't put
your
that ankle
systems.
bracelet on
you want to put it into your policy or your agreement, your employment contract or your independent contract saying you waive your right of privacy
Oh,
in any communications, like if you give them a cell phone, if they have an email account, because there are cases where someone got busted for criminal activity, but he still successfully sued his employer for breaching his privacy rights, right? So they still have privacy rights, okay? So you can have a bunch of policies, but the primary thing I say on the employment side is, make sure that you're properly classifying contractors and employees. That's huge, right? Because for small businesses, you're doing a lot of contracts. You don't probably have a lot of employees. And make sure that you've got the right policies in those agreements, right? Make sure that it's at will, that you can fire them anytime, right? Don't give them a contract for a year and then want to fire them in 6 months, all right? Virginia's an at-will state, which means that the default is they can be fired anytime. Make sure you've got the waiver of privacy. Make sure that if there's anything they have to comply with, that they take that responsibility on. Everyone got all the answers to the quiz?
Yes. I
Okay.
got 7 out of 11.
Nice, all right. Anyone get better than T?
Oh, I don't.
Canal, how you do?
I know I missed.
You got 7? Canal got 7?
7, all right.
Paige?
I scribbled too much.
I have no idea.
Okay, so-
Dawn's the winner. She gets a gold star.
So you guys can do your giveaways, but I will give away a 30-minute consultation, free consultation, right? So you can call, and you can call and see if you want to talk to me. You can ask me questions. But anytime you guys want to call us, call the office and talk about, even if you don't win a free consultation, you can call us at any time and say, hey, we've got this issue. What do you guys think? See if you can help us with. We practice in all these areas. And more. So you can call anytime and we'll talk to you and tell you. Generally we do consultations for flat fees. So if it's something that we want to bring you in for, we may charge for that. But just to talk on the phone, we can talk to you and kind of hear what your issue is and tell you what we think you need to do. So feel free anytime. Any other questions? I know we ran.
Man, that was awesome.
Sorry.
Oh, that was the whole hour with you. That was phenomenal,
Well,
incredible.
Hey, trust me.
And I know
Can
why
I
I
kick
didn't
this
go
niggas or
off.
what? That's the sermon, man. You
Daniel, that was really good.
Excellent.
That was really good. Thank you so much
Sure.
for sharing your
My
wealth of knowledge. I mean,
Excellent.
now I know why I didn't go to law school. I did business.
Yeah.
Did business
You
law,
just
never
saved us a whole
understood
bunch
some
of
of the
things.
stuff like, where did you all come up with that legal jargon stuff from? It was
Oh
so
yeah,
crazy,
no, we've
but that
got
was
more of it
good.
where that came from. So you don't even know the half of it.
Right, and we know the legal system is getting more complicated. A contract for a house used to be, 2 pages? Now it's like 20.
Yeah.
To buy a house
Right.
is so, what happened? And now you can't go in with just any realtor. Now they want you to sign that you're with me, and you're not with anybody else.
State of Maryland is
Yeah,
5
well,
points before
I'll
you
tell
even
you
show the
also,
house.
one thing that I forgot to mention was religious discrimination. So if you guys have your own businesses and you want to refuse, there's a lot of case law that's
Oh,
going
yes.
back
Yeah,
and
with
forth on that.
the gay issue thing.
Yeah, so if you wanted to refuse service to people, that's
You know
how
they
you
lost, right?
advertise.
They lost, right? They did lose, the one with the cake.
Yes, yes. So there's been some bad cases on that, but they just
Yeah.
had one that came down, I think, in Kentucky. I think just recently, where they ruled in favor of
They won.
a believer,
Print
yeah,
shop.
print shop, yeah, who basically said, I don't want to, I don't want to print words that I don't believe in,
Right.
and they upheld that. So it's a constantly changing,
very
area,
dynamic.
very dynamic.
But let me
but-
tell you the awesomeness of what God did for this company, this cake company. Even though they lost, their business shot to like $2 million a year.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
God, you are
That's
so,
what happened.
I
That's what happened.
will fight for you.
They came up with what
God
they
will
believed
fight. It was in the Christian Post.
Started.
It was in the
Yeah.
Don't
Christian
mess
Post,
with
even though they lost legally. People came in and just started supporting their
Wonderful.
business in droves.
That's right.
That's the X factor we
That's what
have.
happened.
Yeah, so that is, so anyway, Daniel got us all excited now.